Yes, TreeALife. TreeALife.com. Sit right so you can forward center stage. We know Talaku the Great Owl.
Christopher Granston.
So the very face of the website, the processes that brought it together, the way in which it was designed, and indeed a lot of its conceptualization is Christopher Granston. So this has been, an integral part of Chris's outlook, and he can tell you, the core idea behind, TreeALife.com, why it was essential to move from a three-dimensional space, Chris, into like a two-dimensional space. We had done Sila Media with Raman Singh, which was a company founded by Adrian Raman, right, and Tristan. And now we have grown out of Sila Media into TreeALife.com. So Chris, tell us, Mr. Granston, what has it been like, the conceptualization and the work to bring TreeALife.com thus far?
Well, we all know that we're living in changing times. Things are changing. Physical infrastructure is becoming a thing of the past. There's less physical space to do business. It's not a pressing issue yet or a critical issue yet, but it is getting there.
True.
Right? And so we need to go on digital platforms to these spaces. And with the rise of the pandemic and the situation surrounding COVID, it became necessary for most businesses to take an online format or take on an online farm. And so it's just out of a necessity that after all of these years, TreeALife not only be just in the physical three-dimensional space, but in cyberspace, to also broaden our reach, to broaden the audience, right, so that we can reach more people and bring more enlightenment to people, right, bring more good vibes, more love, more life, more of everything. You understand?
Absolutely.
So it's absolutely necessary in this time to become a part of the digital space, and over time an integral part of the digital space, as we work to also define what the next stage of the digital journey will actually be and what it will actually look like in our endeavors.
And as you talk about defining, that digital space for the future, in essence, we've kind of always been very conceptual without having the tools. Essentially, like maybe 15, 16 years ago, when we started working on some processes, we did not have the tool, but we had the ideas.
We did.
And to
Very
the point,
good ideas too.
exactly.
Very good ideas, right?
To the point where apparel, right? We cannot do this video without talking about apparel. Yes, by our design. Though you should let me.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
his own design, so designed by
Yeah.
himself, right?
Yeah, man.
So we've always, meaning it's not new. Though they have known me on Sila Media for basically 7 years, never heard me mention about fashion or anything like that. Thinking it probably was a fly of the night idea I had or something, but the truth of it is, hallelujah, it's always been so. Fashion was one of the first things that united us, and one of the things that brought us forward together, because one of the endeavors under TreeALife.com is not just only the online academy, right, which we are known for disseminating wisdom on many platforms. I'm on Wizio.com. We do paid therapy, mini healing sessions, and we are expanding in a personal sense, because Wizio is through partnership with a company out of Israel, right? So we are actually expanding our own virtual space and functional space within cyberspace. TreeALife.com affords us now the ability to present the designs that we have been thinking about, right, for a while now, and weren't able to bring about in the first sense many years ago. We're now forward again, beyond just the reasonings, beyond just the information and the spirituality in Christ. Now we are into representing the fashion. So tell me, what has it been like to have started out on the fashion journey, go forward on the graphical journey, and now returning again to fashion?
Well, let me say first, you said that the digital space affords us certain things. The multifaceted nature of TreeALife made it the perfect entity to put on the cyberspace, right? It has to be, there are so many things. It's such a broad scope, such a broad landscape, that the physical space just couldn't hold it anymore. As I said, there's a lack of space for infrastructure of a certain form. Some ideas are just too big to fit in physical space. There needs to be a space that is kind of physical, kind of conceptual at the same time, right? Tangible enough that humans can interact with it, but you know, conceptual enough that it is large. You know, that we can put in all of these ideas, and it's just the tip of the iceberg. What you're doing now with the clothes, what I'm doing now with the clothes, it's just the tip of the iceberg. There's much more that the audience hasn't seen yet. My personal journey as a graphic designer, I looked at small companies because small companies is the cornerstone of the economy, right?
SMEs, right?
Right, SMEs. Small companies, SMEs, are the cornerstone of the economy in the sense that it's what the economy will become, and with every SME that rises, it shifts the landscape of what the economy will be over time, right? So that's the journey of the economy, and it's very important that SMEs get their branding done properly from the get-go, right?
Absolutely.
So that they can grow into the brand identity in a more seamless fashion, right? And for you to be branded as one thing and then you have to stop and then rebrand, it's unbeneficial in the sense that it's like changing languages, right? It's like the changing of a language, the changing of an attitude. Once you've already established your core values, your core attitude, your core message, it's very uncomfortable for that change to happen, and you can actually lose customers that way. You can lose customers.
That's true as well.
When the energy changes, like some customers are no longer interested. And so once you actually have an established brand image that grows over time and kind of does a seamless, slow morph, right? It's better. It's better. So SMEs, they have brilliant ideas. They don't really know how to translate those brilliant ideas over into a format that it can be of economic value. That is where I come in. I sit them down, I talk to them about their branding. Not only just the branding, as to say the logo, the color scheme, things of the sort, but their public image, what they're trying to say to their customers.
Exactly.
And their core values that they have to keep consistent over time, right?
Absolutely.
Which means that the core message never really changes, right? There are core things that never really changes. It just grows with the landscape.
Absolutely.
And as the landscape grows, that's how you become pop culture, right? You're there for a while, people get familiar with you, you become a household name, people become more familiar and they warm up to you more over time.
Absolutely.
You become a cornerstone even in their own personal life, right? And so SMEs are very important, not only in the sense that they are the next generation, they are the future, but in the sense that they pretty much define what reality will be going forward.
You know, that's a very strong statement in terms of saying they define reality going forward. And it's interesting. I'm going to take one step off camera here for a second, guys, and I'm going to come forward with these information right here, because what is essential, you can hold on to these, Chris, and I'll hold on to this, and we'll show you why we're here. In Jamaica, when we say SMEs, we're saying small and medium-term enterprises, right? Small and medium-term enterprises are usually the terminology that refers to businesses that are born from the creative efforts, mentality, talents, and skill sets of individuals who aren't necessarily corporate or of a certain class, like a certain class that accesses resources faster, funding faster, skill sets faster, best practices faster, or be able to access the platforms and portals that's able to get them on a bigger platform to compete economically. So we're just coming from the Digital Jamaica Summit, right? And the essence of the Digital Jamaica Summit was about growing our businesses. And JBDC is a company over the years that have been trying to grow SMEs in Jamaica. So the essence of why we're even doing this particular video is that this has not been new for us. We were doing this many years ago. We were discouraged because the visions we had, as he said, shaping. We had visions that were far ahead of the capabilities conceptually at the time and our ability to produce these concepts, but we still represented them. We did them as a part of even your presentation for your...
Core Sportswear in 2011. Yeah,
so we actually laid down the template, set out that platform, but we were unable through the lack of financing, or should I say, the lack of insight in the particular business community, the banking system, who saw the idea, thought it was great, thought our directions were awesome, so to the point that they advised us to get equity financing. But the real issue is that was a problem. We needed credit financing. That was, through these credit-bearing institutions like the banking and securities. But anyhow, the real point I'm trying to make is this. We were discouraged, and for a long time, we took the way of our individual talents, me, my music, and poetry and performance, and Chris is graphics. But the essence of it is why we're back together in the essence of TreeALife.com, TreeALife Online Academy, TreeALife Apparel, and all of the other ventures under TreeALife.com is because now we're no longer under the mentality and the belief that it's just okay to run into one obstacle and say, that's it, you're gonna quit, right?
True. That's true.
So many people, Mr. Granston, run without ideas,
Yeah, many.
right?
Many.
To the point where people don't even know a lot of the dynamic
Many
design.
are cornerstones of the internet to this day. Don't forget that. Many of our ideas, our initial ideas, are cornerstones of business, manufacturing, and design to this day. And it defined what the internet became over time.
Because the essence of TreeALife, that's what it was.
Yeah.
All these creative minds, sometimes numbering into the 30s, faculty members, workers, students, right? And non-students, right? Past alumni. It was a true melting pot. They love use that term, oh, it's a melting pot of please look around here. So there's no pot here, but it was really some melting and intertwining a vast amount of knowledge. It's true kind of pot there. Yeah, pot is there, it's a cook and all them things, right? And the essence of understanding, because I don't want to lose this. You talked about pop culture, and this is what I want to talk about. I wasn't much into graffiti, as Jamaican's culture wasn't really about graffiti, or graffiti was nice and neat and political and never had much depth to it.
Yeah.
Except streetwear was something I've always been interested in, because now we're doing t-shirts, right?
T-shirts, right?
But essentially, the essence of why pop culture in our case is that for years of being a poet, our styling in terms of LSX, my group, and my individual styling was always an issue that drew attention. I remember the first time I came into the paper on television as a Rastaman with a mohawk. Remember what impact that had on Jamaica? That means a Rastaman never had a mohawk. That red stripe had.
Yeah, it's iconic. It's iconic. Never another one like it to this day.
Right. So we're talking
iconic.
about pop culture. So we're saying that that impact has happened, but we have not been rewarded in the true knowing that Granston and Great Owl, Sage, were conceptualizers of this movement, that we parried this idea around 20 and 30 of our closest friends and about 100 of the followers that were usually around the circles of TreeALife through the LSX days, the poetry movements from University of the West Indies, Mona, to University of Technology, right, to Michael's Teachers College, right here at Edna Manley. The overstanding, we put that word in a Rasta word, the overstanding of this. Faith affords us a clarity. And what is that clarity? That the concept that went into clothes, deportment of identity, was a skewed concept led by pedagogy that was European, put another way, from our slave masters. A freedom of movement in biology, in identity, even in deportment, in garment, was not acceptable. The pedagogy was to emulate Europeans, to ascribe value and virtue to Europeans. So when we started this, the essence was to see that the Dior's, the LVMH was the ones that were the Gucci's, and then we learned through appropriations that they have taken so much. And now to Virgil Abloh and all, and now Pharrell Williams, LVMH has dug into streetwear, into pop culture. That's like Tremaine Emery usually say about understanding that there is a veritable quality, like authenticity, that TreeALife man them usually dress a certain way, uniquely, specifically, that spawned a unique understanding. Dubmaster Lynch, rest him soul in peace. When Lynch touched stage, touched anywhere, the coordination, and usually the truth is, we usually color match, and we never usually plan.
Yeah, I remember that.
You know,
Remember that.
these are part of the dynamism. So when we're talking about TreeALife, now transposed and I would say evolved into TreeALife.com, there's many layers to it, as you had said before. The impact on pop culture is recognizing that someone has to be the one that's making the sauce. You probably remember the taste of the sauce, you probably remember who served it to you, but you didn't remember who was in the kitchen, who was cooking up that sauce. So, Chris, where are we now in going forward with Impetus Creation, your personal company, right, and TreeALife.com? Where are we in moving forward?
In regards to Impetus Creation, there has been a recent, not rebrand, but like a repositioning of how I operate Impetus Creations. There has been an extension of my skills and what I offer now. So I've gone into content management, social media content management. Social media content management has been around for a while. It's nothing new, but it's more geared towards the public image aspect of it. As I said, the brand needs to grow in a particular way over time, right?
Absolutely.
And there's a certain message that needs to be maintained. And social media, especially Instagram, tends to be very sporadic. The way that people post tends to be very sporadic. And so I help people to craft what their image is, even when they go to events, right? It's how they post the information and how that information, that post, relates to everything else that has come before, right? It's a career, it's a movement in a particular direction, right? And that's what I want to bring to TreeALife as well. That is what you will see in everything to do with the TreeALife. The social media platforms will soon be up. They are currently not up now, but they'll be up soon, right?
It means the Facebook and the Instagram.
Yeah, the Facebook and the Instagram, the social media platforms. It will go beyond that, of course, right? There'll be more, but of course, where the website is concerned, the functionality of the website had to cover an array of various things. The things that TreeALife's core values cover, which is creativity, philanthropy, and education, right? And you will see that reflected in the site when you actually go there.
That's a definite.
It had to be these three things because those are the three main things that we do. Those are the three main things. Creativity is the broadest brushstroke. It's what we do most. It's the music, it's the art, it's the culture. It's the articles that is now up. It's the things that we speak about consistently, right? The multifaceted views of different cultures, the multifaceted influences of different cultures. It's very important. So TreeALife.com is like a reservoir. It's a place where all of that water comes together, and it's a beautiful well that we can all drink from, right? A cultural well, creative well, you know. And there's good music. Check out the music. The music is phenomenal, and it
Absolutely.
has been,
Hallelujah.
rest in peace to Ganja, right?
And
Dubmaster Lynch,
yes. Benny,
in
Sir
working,
Wilson.
yes, Sir Wilson, Benjamin Wilson, in working on the website.
Nabi Natural.
And Nabi Natural as well, of course.
Yes.
Rest in peace to Nabi Natural, a great philosopher, great guide, great leader. The music that our friends produced during their lifetime, it was particularly impactful and inspirational in developing TreeALife because it was like the guiding star. After a while, I would sit
Absolutely.
and listen to the music and reconnect with energies from that time, and
Yes.
that would help me to actually. It's a process. It's like painting. So there has to be inspiration, even when you're building a website. Follows the same rules of color scheme, texture, things of the sort. So it's a painting in of itself, and it has been a wonderful journey. There were some hard points. There were some very hard points.
Definitely.
It was not without its birth pains in a sense, but it's a wonderful experience, and the most important thing, it will keep growing. You will see it grow from strength to strength over time as we progress.
Absolutely. And as we talk about progress, we're still interested in people who want to invest in the growth and development of the products and the services that are offered through TreeALife.com. Now you're getting an understanding that it's a multifaceted of layout. And one of the essential part of this multifaceted is that we have a subscription section for Tree-A-Life members and members who want to exclusively advertise their products, their services with us, with an assurance that our clientele, our marketing, our promotional machinery will include your products, your services under the Tree-A-Life heading and banner. The traffic that comes to our site will also be directed to your site. The packages for subscription are very affordable, and of course there is a commensurate rate for Tree-ites, which is Tree-A-Life members, separate and apart from like first comers. But there's always packages, and we'll create more packages as time go on, as you can see the reach. But Chris, you forgot to tell them about another range of our communication skills. We have Tree-A-Life Television Network, which is fused and infused with TreeALife.com, which as time go on, we'll have more videos that cover more cultural, more spiritual events. We're sorry we do not have images from the conference, but there's a reason why. And no apologies, but for the next conference we are a part of, we'll make sure we have all footages and such that you can, but we'll have images for the website. So we're gonna have images on TreeALife.com, so you can look forward to those images. We forgot to talk about the podcast. That's another avenue of expression. And traditional podcast is my own podcast, where I look at some of the nostalgic things that we've actually lost as a collective culture here in Jamaica, and let's just say the Caribbean, the Americas, right? Something tangible to Aboriginal, so-called black people that I have seen. And you know, as time go on, we'll have some interesting guests with me. It's a half-an-hour podcast. It's not really like it's gonna be a long time. I also have a 1-hour podcast that I've done over the years with Don Josiah Goodman, and he's a rabbinical teacher in New York as well as a mental health worker. You know, so under my therapy, we did a lot of programs about the mental health, the psyche, the spirituality, the development of the human conditions through our faith in the Mashiach. And so there's tons of these podcasts that's called Soul Class. And also, Mr. Granston, you are coming also, or else forwarding with a podcast as well. So can you give us a little outline on your podcast before we wrap up?
My podcast, I won't disclose the name of it right now. However, it will be about various outlooks on religion and politics as well as culture. So it's multifaceted as well, right? But it will be my personal opinion, of course, on politics, religion, and culture. That will be the core structure of it. Particularly as it relates to Jamaica and the Jamaican outlook of politics, religion, and culture, and how that has changed over time. And this is where we will link all the things from the past to what is happening in the present, because there's nothing new under the sun, so says the Bible. Nothing new under the sun. And those old habits, attitudes, ways that was set in stone back then, established back then, they affect us now.
Absolutely.
And they aren't as diluted as we think. They are very much strong, very much present, very much raw. And I think it's something that we need to talk about. It's something that needs some level of exposure for the Jamaicans, the Jamaica, to contemplate, think about deeply. Think about in terms of how did this apply to my life, and what kind of mistakes did I make as a result of these programs, these attitudes and these outlooks that were inherited and given, and not necessarily learned as naturally as if you may have thought it was, right? It's a podcast for everybody, but it's specifically targeted to the Jamaican people, because Jamaicans need to know and understand these things that we have been carrying that we don't need to carry anymore. It's a new age, right? It's a new age of progress. It's a new age of enlightenment, right? It's a new age of freedom in Jesus Christ, and we need to know what we are doing wrong, what we are doing, mistakes that we are making, and how to go forward in a meaningful and efficient way.
That is absolutely, apt message and outlook for the future. Tree-A-Life, like I said, for all those years, I've always been around the dichotomy of information, the finding of self, the clarifying of the self-experience, of decoding and defining the Christ in us, our understanding faith in functionality. How you're going to live your life with the faith of the Hamashiach. Are you going to be constrained into a European modus operandi to look and appear and speak and be deported in the essence of how they are? Are you going to be proud in the creation like the first man and the first woman? Blood unto generations, here we are. You know, the essence of TreeALife has always been to remember these things, to put them front and stage in all palatable reasonings, whether you're going to be a trained teacher or a professional artist, right? The essence of all of the TreeALife members have been centered around that understanding. What value we've gained, what value we've grasped, and we welcome you to experience this value with us, to stay within the grasp of this expanding awareness, this very expansive awareness, right? You can catch me, The Great Owl, on all musical platforms, typing, you know, typing The Great Owl. You know, if you type in Teleco, you won't get it. But, you know, Teleco The Great Owl. Teleco is the name affirmation from Jerome Sage Butler. You know, coming to me about original identity. So there's a name change and the music reflects our creative movement. So if you type in The Great Owl on any platform, in particular if you type in Blue Kachina, Red Kachina, that's my first EP, and it's available on TreeALife Music. And TreeALife Music for many years was conceptualized, and now TreeALife Music, just like TreeALife.com, is a reality. We produce our own music. And we gotta give thanks to another TreeALife member, Shrimpy Clark, I will call him Derek Clark, we call him Kafari Moore. Yes, he's been the beat maker, one of the persons that's been in the corner of TreeALife. So we just want to implore all who have made this journey before to forward again to see what we have happening. And for those who have traveled over from Sela Media, don't go wandering off, because everything ain't the same, but some things are especially what it is. To know it and to experience its value, you have to spend time with it. And we give thanks for the time that you spent with us right here. So where can we find you on social media platform, Chris?
On all platforms, I'm Impetus Creations. You can also just look for Christopher Granston. I'm a graphic designer, content creator, and I do anything web, anything branding, anything marketing, right? That is my forte. So, you know, if you want your company branded, you know, if you want the best branding out there, and I say that with no hypocrisy or pretense, it is the best branding out there.
And I'll second that.
Link Christopher Granston, link Impetus Creations, and you will receive the best that money can buy, and that I will guarantee. God bless you.
That's it right there. And as we say, right here at TreeALife, we are alive in the spirit. And the spirit is the spirit of the Hamashiach. So until next time, like, share, subscribe to TreeALife Experience right here on TreeALife Television Network and TreeALife.com.